morning, boys and girls. Today, we're going to continue working on the whipping boy. First of all, though, we want to talk about what we did yesterday. We learned that events in a chapter can impact the relationships between characters, as well as how to use specific details to describe a character's feelings and their actions. Now, we also read chapters 17 and 18. Let's talk about chapter 17. Let's look at it right quick and do a little review of what it was about. Look on page 60 in your Whipping Boy book. Page 60. The title says, Petunia to the Rescue. What was this chapter about? Think. Share at your table. Your pointer, share at your table. Remember, when you were answering, we should be using complete sentences. That helps us for when we are writing. Okay, let's share. Chapter 17. Let's do a little recap. What was it about, Renasia? Shh. How Petunia came and saved Prince Brat and Jimmy. How? How did Petunia do that, Lauren?
Petunia ran to cut water and hold your nose Billy, and Petunia scared him so bad that cut water swam while hold your nose Billy got Prince Brat and ran.
Okay. And Petunia scared him away, so he swam away. All right, and we also read chapter 18, which was of assorted events in which the plot thickens thicker. This was a pretty long chapter, and that's kind of what we're going to work on our question today. It was a pretty long chapter. What was this whole chapter about, though? Think. If you need to look through the book, you can. Share at your table.
It was about how Prince Brat at the beginning of the story that Prince Brat and Jimmy would not
In this chapter, though, I don't think that's what this chapter was about. They went back to town. What happened when they went back in town? Prince Brat experiences what? What does Prince Brat experience? Plot thickens thicker. A lot of what? New and interesting things that he had never experienced before. All right? Jackson, give us that answer. Let's listen up. Jackson? Listen.
Chapter 18 was about how Prince Brat did things that he never done before.
Okay, how he did things that he's never done before. So he had a lot of firsts in this chapter. And that's one of the things that we're going to work on today. So, we read aloud the chapters yesterday. I want you to think about events that have had an impact on Jimmy and Prince Brat and their relationship. We're going to answer questions on events that had an impact on their relationship. Why is that the big question? Because at the end of the book, our culminating writing task is how do Jimmy and Prince Brat and their relationship change over the course of the Whipping Boy. So with every chapter we read, we want to stop and think about how their relationship changed or what events affected their relationship that may have caused a change. So that's what you're going to be working on today. Now, we're going to do the first one together. Look at your note taker. Everybody look at your note taker in front of you. We're going to do that first question today. Together. There is a little excerpt from the book. We're going to reread little excerpts, little pieces. Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Put your finger and we're going to read together. Ready? Hold up. Some people are not ready. I'm on the first question. We are reading the excerpt together. Ready? Read. Jimmy watched the prince slowly raise himself off the mud flat. He felt a growing amazement. Prince Brat, a brave one, whipped have an impact on his and Jimmy's relationship? All right, well, let's think about this. How does that have an impact on their relationship? I am going to put it up here. First of all, we have to look at the excerpt. And it says, what words or phrases help show this change? So we're going to get to underline words and phrases that help show this change. Now, let me think about this question again. How does Prince Bratt being whipped have an impact on his and Jimmy's relationship? Well, I know the whole story. He has never, let me talk about it first. The whole story, he has never been whipped, right? But he keeps being a brat, and the poor little whipping boy gets whipped the whole time. Then, when he finally gets whipped, because that's all Jimmy wanted, he should be getting whipped. He's doing this, he should be the one getting whipped, blah, blah, blah. And now that he's finally getting whipped, how does Jimmy feel about that? What I remember is it said in here, it said, I think in the book it said something about it wasn't to his satisfaction, meaning he what? He didn't like it. All right? So how does that have an impact on their relationship? Now the prince knows what it feels like to be whipped. So I am going to write that where it says, how does Prince Bratt being whipped have an impact on his and Jimmy's relationship? So I'm going to use that. Prince Bratt being whipped. I'm using part of the question in my answer. Prince Bratt being whipped has an impact. You can write your same answer as we're going. An impact on their relationship because he now knows what it feels like and what Jimmy was going through every time he got whipped. Everyone should be writing their answer as I'm writing mine. I'm showing you how, because now that the whole time Jimmy was the one getting whipped, he's the whipping boy, for the wrongdoing of Prince Bratt. But now that Prince Bratt finally got a whipping, Jimmy didn't like the way it made him feel. He's like, oh, I don't like him being. So that tells me they're starting to change. They're starting to become friends because he doesn't want him to get whipped. And it has an impact because now the prince knows what it feels like. All those times he made Jimmy get whipped, he was enjoying it, watching, and now he knows exactly what it feels like. Now, I'm not done though, because it says, what words help show this change that he now knows and he's now kind of considerate of it? Jimmy watched the prince slowly raise himself off the mud flat. That's when he got up off the mud. He felt a growing amazement. That would be part of the evidence there. He felt a growing amazement. Prince Bratt, a brave one, because when Prince Bratt was getting whipped, he did not cry, guys. He did not cry. And he's like, he's being a brave one? Like, oh my God, I didn't think he would ever do that. All right? So, Prince Bratt being a brave one. It didn't seem possible. So that's another thing I'm going to underline as some evidence. He was a brave one. And then he said there was a cast iron streak of pluck in him. A cast iron streak means what?
A little.
Cast iron is very what? Hard. So there's some heart in him. He's not crying. He's going to take it like a tough boy, like I did. So I think why him being whipped here, the boys are starting to understand each other. They're starting to maybe have feelings for each other and know what the other one is going through. So this could be part of a change in their relationship. Got it? All right. Now, you're going to go, all my number ones are going to go work in a group at table 1. All my number 2s are going to go to table 2. 3s are going to go to table 3. And 4s are going to come to the round table in the front. You are going to work on the question on the back. Express your understanding from what we read yesterday. Let's look at it and see exactly what you're going to do with that group that you go work with, because you're going to have to come back to your table and explain to your table what y'all came up with. Jesse? All right, ready? Let's read the question together. Ready? Read.
Prince Brett experienced first in these 2 chapters. Describe the events that occurred and explain how they have impacted Prince Brett and his relationship with Jimmy.
Oh, what do they want me to do here? Well, Lauren, tell us. What do they want us to do?
They want us to find the first thing that Prince Brett did in the 2 chapters, 17 and 18.
Okay, they want us to find some of the first event, the things that happened for the first time in his life in these chapters. But just list them?
No.
Jackson?
You gotta. How did it impact Prince Brett and his relationship with Jimmy?
Okay, so you have to explain how that event impacted or changed their relationship some. Guys, now, you're going to work in that little group with your number. Write down a little short response, a little short answer. As you're working, though, I want you to remember to use the pink cards on your table. The pink cards, Lloyd, please pick that up. The pink cards are sentence starters to cite evidence, okay? Because a big thing we need to learn is, okay, I have my opinion. I'm saying this happened. Why? You need to support it with evidence. So looking at your card, I want to see, according to the text, blah, 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 blah. Or, for example, it is something from the text. Or, the text describes blank by saying blah, 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 blah. Okay? So whatever your answer may be, I want you using some evidence sentence starters to make sure we have a good answer. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. I will work with group 4 when they come to my table, but I will also come around and work at your group and be ready to explain what you did and read your answer to your group. Now, we don't have a whole lot of time to get it done, okay? But we read it yesterday. We kind of talked about some things, so I'm sure you should be able to do it. All right, you may stand and walk to your group. Stand and walk to your group. Now, ones are here. This is table 1, 2s, 3s, and I'm working with 4s at my table. In your group together, I want you rereading the question, deciding which things, which events were important that affect that. What were some of the first things that happened to him for the very first time, and how did that affect his relationship with Jimmy? Discuss it and write it. You don't need the red card yet. The red card is going to be for your independent work. Right now you're doing your small group work. All right, you may begin. I am going to give you like 5 to 7 minutes to work on this, and then you're going to go back to your group so you can discuss it. Okay? Let's go. 5 to 7 minutes. In your book. Open. I should see you looking in the book. I should see you looking in chapter 18. Finding what you probably remember some things. Go find where that's at. Use your evidence table and write some answers. Let's go. Discuss it with your group. All right. Y'all getting it? You're gonna stand. He got what? Whip. He got whipped for the first time, but there were many other things. We kind of already talked about the whipped one. What are some things that happened for the first time? What? He ate a potato for the first time. Why? Why was this the first time he ever ate a potato? Because he was from the castle, and kings and queens and the castle people didn't eat potatoes. That was considered a peasant. Okay, so they didn't eat that. What was another verse that happened in this chapter? What? He what? He shook somebody. Why was this the first time he ever shook somebody's hand? Sorry. Why was it the first time he shook somebody's hand? You can't shake royalty's hand. That was a big no-no. So he had never shaken anybody's hand before. Alright? What else was another first?
Texas is fine.
He got whipped for the first time. He did servant work by Harry in the kettle. Alright? What about when they, at the end of the chapter, he go into the what? He went into the sewers for the first time. How did that affect their relationship? How does that affect the relationship? Say what? French fry was getting a little braver. Okay, because remember he was scared to go down. But Jimmy stopped and Jimmy said, I'm gonna help you. And then in the sewers, it was very, very wet inside. There were rats in a certain area, so Jimmy cried with him. Jimmy was in there. Jimmy was helping French fry. And again, they're starting to do what? Understand and take. I'll write an answer down and you're going to be able to take that and share it and take it. Make sure you use evidence starters. Good job, Dean. I like the way y'all were discussing and getting your answers written down, using your evidence chart. Awesome. Everybody's doing it. Explain how that impacts their relationship. Alright, well, what verse y'all write about?
The author.
Remember, there's not just one right answer. There are several right answers. You think of the one that had one of the greatest impacts, and you write about it to bring back to your team. All right, about 2 more minutes, and we're going back to our seats. Make sure when you're writing in complete sentences.
Just write this event.
Come on, you have yours done. Why not? Huh? Were you what? Right?
That's and.
Good job, guys. Yeah, you have to explain. You have to explain how it had an impact on their relationship. Because remember, the big culminating writing that we're doing at the end is about their relationship and how it changed throughout the whole story. Okay, stop where you are. I know it wasn't a whole lot of time, but you had some time to talk with other people besides your group. Now you're going to go back to your group, and we're going to discuss what y'all came up with in your small groups. So right now, all right, move back to your table. Everybody move back to your table. All right, it's all right. Go sit down. Everybody get your materials back to your table. Okay, I want, since you are numbered off, whose book? Since you are numbered off, I am going to start with number ones. Number ones, at your table, tell your team what your other team discussed. Complete sentences. Okay, when ones are done, twos may explain theirs, then threes, then fours. All right, your turn. Which y'all will start? All right, three. I told you, y'all. You chose not to. I like what I'm hearing right here. She said on page 24, it said that she's using the evidence from the text. 64, sorry. Can't survive in the streets. That shows how it affected their relationship. Shows how they affected their relationship.
So that is how
You have to explain the events
All right.
that occurred to them when they did that.
All right, so everybody had a turn to share.
She not done
Go.
it. She doesn't.
All right, the last person has a turn to share. So we can move on to the next activity that I want you to do independently to help us out with class tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what I want you to do, we read it yesterday. We reread parts today. We discussed it today about events that happened that affected their relationship. Can I get you one? Now, in your groups, there are some red higher order thinking cards. On the cards are some questions. Stems, question stems. I want you to think about an event that happened in either chapter 17 or chapter 18, Lauren's group. Either chapter 17 or 18, and come up with a good question. own question that I am going to use at the beginning of tomorrow's class to see if we remember what we read. So, you're going to use the question stem card, come up with a good question, write it on the index card. I want your name on them, because I am picking these. These are like a little exit ticket. I am picking these up to check your understanding from what we did in class today. So, look through the higher order question card. It says, what reason is there for the character to blah, blah, blah? You are going to come up with a question about a character. You're going to choose one. Y'all need one more? Y'all are going to choose one. You might say, what was the motive behind blah, blah, blah? Can you predict what the outcome would be if? Let me give you an example. What can you predict what the outcome would be if Prince Brat had never ran away from the house, the castle, or whatever. Whatever your question is, and then so write the question, and then I want you to give your answer at the bottom. And I am going to pull some of these. I'm picking them all up today to read through them tonight because I want to see who's understanding what we're doing and who's not. And I am going to use them tomorrow to start class, and I'm going to ask them to you and see who can answer them. Donna, Steve, y'all understand? All right, you may begin. This is independent. I want it on your own. Yes?
It says, why do the character feel? Can I put, change that?
Yeah, you can change this however you want. You're coming up with your own question. It really doesn't even have to be one on here, but these are some stems to kind of help you get started with the question.
I left my finger on the table.
You left your what? Your red card? Go get it. That would be a good question, and then you write you a little answer at the bottom, so I know what your thinking is behind it.
Put a question in the front and put an answer at the back.
Either way you want it, but make sure your name is on the card as well. Make sure your name is on the card as well. Let's go. Quick. Come on with your question. Done? Make sure your name's on your card. I want the question and I want your answer so I can see if you really understand what you're asking. You can hold it up as you're done. I'm going to come around and pick them up. And as you're working, I just kind of want to wrap the lesson up and kind of just talk about what we did today. In this lesson, we learned that events can do what? Impact a character and its relationship with other characters. And we also learned to use specific details to describe a character's feelings and their actions and making sure we prove our answers with evidence. All right, so tomorrow I am going to start with these questions. Make sure your name's on them. I'm going to start with these questions.
Miss Blake.